So coming to blood clotting or blood coagulation, this is a process that ensures that there is no excessive blood loss from the body when there is an injury. So basically it prevents blood loss. Right. So what happens, we're going to look at the steps in details. So when there is an injured tissue, what happens? That injured tissue releases something called the thromboplastin. And the platelets, as you remember, we have talked about the platelets. It's the number of platelets that can be present. And the major function of platelets was this blood clotting. So the blood platelets at the site of injury, they disintegrate. And release something called the platelet factor 3, and this is also called the platelet thromboplastin. Right. Now, these two factors, that is the thromboplastin and the platelet factor 3, these two come together and activate a protein which is called the prothrombinase. Now this prothrombinase is one of the major proteins or one of the major enzymes that needs to be activated, because the prothrombinase in turn would activate a protein which is called prothrombin. Now this is the inactive form of the protein, and this is going to be activated to form thrombin. Right, so prothrombin, whenever there is a pro, it is the previous stage of that protein, and most of the time it is inactive. So it is going to form the thrombin. The prothrombin is going to form the thrombin. And how does prothrombin does that? Prothrombin, basically what it does, it inactivates heparin. Now, heparin is an anticoagulant, right? It inactivates heparin and catalyzes this process of prothrombin to thrombin. And this process is also catalyzed by another enzyme which is called thrombokinase. Now this thrombokinase, this enzyme, it is coming from the activation of the clotting factors. So the clotting factors get activated and the thrombokinase is activated, which in turn is helping the prothrombinase to convert prothrombin into thrombin. Now this thrombin, which is produced from prothrombin, it catalyzes another very important reaction, the final reaction of the blood clotting system, that is the conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin. And fibrin is the molecule that arranges itself to form the blood clot. So we can say that fibrin, along with the blood cells, they together form the clot. Basically what the fibrin does, is a fibrillar kind of molecule, that is, they are long fibrils. So the fibrin, it creates a mesh-like structure where the blood cells are trapped. And this is nothing but the clot that we see, which is formed after a certain time of bleeding. Now, when you do not have either of these molecules working properly, then you're going to have a clotting problem. Now, apart from this, a very important factor that plays in blood clotting or blood coagulation is the exposure of the blood to oxygen or to the environment. So oxygen plays a very important role. Oxygen plays a very important role in blood clotting. And apart from oxygen, another very important molecule that is required for blood clotting is vitamin K. This vitamin K is actually necessary for the synthesis of prothrombin in liver. So these two are very important. So vitamin K and oxygen. This is very important for the initiation or the starting of the blood clotting or blood coagulation.